Part 107. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1061. As Lu Zhang left, the Lu family's laughter became less frequent. Feng Qingxiu was used to Lu Zhang going on missions from time to time, pretending that nothing was wrong and taking care of the children and doing housework. The summer harvest is around the corner, and the Wanglu Brigade's preparations are proceeding in an orderly manner. Under the arrangements of the captain and other captains, some are sharpening their knives, some are driving mules to the fields, and some are busy with the unfinished crop work in the fields. Everyone refused to let Feng Qingxiu and Feng Qingyun go to the ground. Feng Qingyun is smart and careful, and can help take care of Zibao and Fuebao at home. As for Feng Qingyun, firstly, she was pregnant, and secondly, her household registration was in the army and her job was in the army, so she didn't have to work at all. Feng Qingxiu finished her housework after breakfast and practiced calligraphy and painting in the house. In the past few days, no matter how busy she was, she would take some time to study, practice calligraphy and painting, and study Guoming's medical notes. When encountering doubts and puzzles, Feng Qingxiu thought of Wu Zheng. She has been so busy lately. Guoming told her that she must go to Wu Zheng to show off, but she even forgot about it. Patting her forehead, Feng Qingxiu reminded herself to go to the city with Guancheng in a few days to visit Wu Zheng. At this time, Fu Bao ran into the house carrying a small flower basket. "Mom, can you make me a necklace?" The white and tender little hands grabbed a handful of grass beads from the basket, exuding the unique smell of grass beads, which was a little bitter, astringent, and a little grassy. Feng Qingxiu lowered her head and looked. Where did it come from? Are the grass beads on the mountain not yet mature? Feng Qingyun followed behind and said with a smile. Fu Bao saw a string of straw beads hanging on Xiaofang's neck and was extremely envious. "I told her that there were straw beads at home and I would give her a necklace and another one when I came back." Necklace. But Xiaofang's mother was too polite and immediately scooped up 2 big scoops of the grass beads that they picked last year and put them in Fu Bao's basket. Xiaofang's mother also wanted to take Xiaofang's grass beads necklace and give it to Fu Bao. She didn't ask for it, and Fu Bao didn't ask for it either. He said you would make a necklace for her. Really? Fu Bao, you want the necklace? Feng Qingxiu looked down at her delicate, white, and tender daughter. Fu Bao nodded vigorously. "Mom, it's a beautiful necklace. The baby likes it very much. I like it very much." The rosy little face and the big watery eyes are full of desire. Feng Qingxiu's heart softened. "Then have you thanked Xiaofang's sister-in-law?" Xiaofang's mother's name is Hong Xing, she is Lu Jiang's niece-in-law. She had difficulty giving birth to Xiaofang, and it was Feng Qingxiu who saved her mother and daughter. 2 lives. "I said thank you, and Xiaofang's mother praised me for being so good," Fu Bao said proudly and urged. "Mom, necklace." Okay, I'll do it for you. You sit on the small bench and wait next to me." Fu Bao immediately moved his own little bench and sat on it obediently, staring at his mother without blinking. Feng Qingxiu found a roll of thick linen thread and a big needle, threaded the needle, and picked out evenly sized beads from the grass beads. While stringing the beads, she asked, "Xiaoun, where is Zibao? Aren't you together? Are you going out? Who is looking at Zibao now?" Feng Qingyun handed her the beads he picked out. "Zibao is riding a donkey, and Uncle Lu is rushing to the market." Feng Qingxiu felt relieved after following Lu's father. "Riding a donkey? Oh, that's okay, as long as he doesn't step on the stone rollers." Feng Qingyun chuckled and said, "It is said that a wise son is better than his father. I think a wise son is better than his mother." When this kid saw Shi Lizu rolling around on the field, he really wanted to step on it. Uncle Lu told him a story, a lot of truth, and finally he chose to ride a donkey. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1062. Feng Qingxiu looked at her sister speechlessly. As expected, she was right. Zibao would not stay quietly wherever she went. However, Father Lu was able to control him, so Feng Qingxiu was not worried at all. Mom, brother is bad, baby is good, you like the baby, not the brother. Fu Bao put his little hand on Feng Qingxiu's knee, looking like I was very obedient, if she didn't stare at the half-stretched a necklace would be nice. Feng Qingxiu laughed, quickly strung a few more beads and tied a knot. Fu Bao is small, so the length of the necklace is naturally limited. Touching the straw bead necklace hanging from her neck to her chest, Fu Bao was so beautiful. She bent her eyes, held her little chin in her hands, and jumped up and down. The baby looks good, the necklace looks good, thank you mom. She climbed into Feng Qingxiu's arms and kissed her hard on the face. Okay, sit down and let mom tie 2 bracelets together. Before she finished speaking, the little girl was already sitting upright like a little lady. The 2 bracelets were quickly strung together and put on her wrists. Fu Bao was even happier, grinning widely. Feng Qingyun couldn't help but said, "Sister, who did Fu Bao learn this from? Why do you love beauty so much? When I was a child, I felt that having enough food was a very happy thing. How can I be like her, who has to comb her hair every day? It's not neat and it's sad." Feng Qingxiu refused to admit that her daughter learned from her, but the little girl said loudly, "I look like my mother." A voice came from outside and laughed, "Who looks like mom?" Fu Bao. As the voice fell, Jing Kuiwa opened the straw bead curtain and came in. "My cousin is here, please take a seat." Feng Qingxiu hurriedly stood up and gave up her seat. At the same time, she lowered her head and said to Fu Bao, "Call me aunt." Although she is a cousin, the title is correct. "Hello, aunt," Fu Bao shouted sweetly, and then ran to her and circled around. "Aunt, I look very good, right? I have a necklace and a bracelet, they are both beautiful." As she spoke, she raised her hands and showed off the grass beads on her wrists. Jing Kuiwa praised repeatedly, "Yes, our Fu Bao is the prettiest. Fu Bao is the prettiest little girl in the entire brigade." The little beauty was satisfied and said, "Thank you." Then she took Feng Qingyun's hand and said, "Auntie, let's go out and play." She wanted everyone to see her beautiful necklace and bracelet. "Okay," Feng Qingyun held back her laughter and took her out. Feng Qingxiu poured water for Jing Kuiwa, "The little girl is naughty and makes my cousin laugh." Jing Kuiwa smiled and said, "Zioxiu, I thought you were lucky before, and I was right. Look at how well you have raised these 2 children. They are white, clean, and delicate, just like the painting I saw when I was a child. Just like the golden boy in the house. Yesterday I met Grandpa Lu-san chatting with people behind the house, saying how good it is to have a Zibao at every mouth, and how lucky you are to have a Zibao at every mouth. I can't help it. Who told our Zibao to be handsome?" This sentence made Jing Kuiwa laugh, and finally stopped laughing, and said seriously, "I'm here to see you today. I have something serious to tell you. I won't joke around. Anyway, your 2 children are blessed. That's everyone knows." Feng Qingxiu asked what was going on, and Jing Kuiwa said, "Your Tianwan and Guancheng are both very young. In the past, they got married at the age of 16 or 17, but now they have to wait till 19 or 20. Although she is not their biological mother, but she is similar to them. What do you think of me being a matchmaker for them? They are both hard-working and capable girls. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1063. Matchmaker. Feng Qingxiu remembered what Guancheng said in front of her. Since Guancheng has not met the right person and has no intention of starting a family for the time being, Feng Qingxiu will naturally not force it. When it comes to their children's marriage, Lu's father and Lu Zhang both respect their children's wishes. Marriage and love belong to them. Only they know whether there is love and whether it is suitable. It is better to lack than to abuse. This is Lu Jiang's experience. In the past 2 days, he has often talked about educating his nephews. Cousin, I'm sorry, I made your trip in vain. Feng Qingxiu apologized first. Jing Kuihua was stunned. What? You don't agree? Feng Qingxiu smiled slightly, just like what you said, sister-in-law, although I am similar to their biological mother, I am not their biological mother after all. I really can't make the decision on marriage alone. There is also my father-in-law above Tianwan. It's one of them. The first one? What about the second one? Jing Kuihua asked. The second thing is that my Tianwan has a partner. He is also a soldier and a medical soldier. He has already reported his love to the army. Didn't Ajiang and I go to the capital a while ago? We just went to visit the in-laws. Feng Qingxiu did not hide this. In fact, I also wanted to use this to dispel the idea of playing matchmaking for Lu Tianjun in the brigade. Tianjun has been in the army for more than a year and he has a partner. Jing Kuihua couldn't hide his shock. Where are they from? Zioxiu, you are not a person who knows everything. Who knows what they are planning? Feng Qingxiu chuckled and said, which soldier in the army failed the political examination? Besides, this child and I have a very good relationship. When I met her, Tianjun was still studying at home. In the future, we will not worry about our relationship conflicts arose. To be honest, I am very happy for them that they can get together. So, if anyone wants to be a matchmaker for my Tianjun, my sister-in-law should tell them so that they can avoid being politely rejected by me. It doesn't look good, and I feel uncomfortable. Oh, how come the whole family is a soldier? They are really young. Jing Kuihua thought for a while and realized that the girls she asked to be matchmakers couldn't keep up with them. No wonder Feng Qingxiu refused. You just didn't tell me where that girl was. I heard that Tianjun is serving as a soldier in the capital military region. Is that daughter from the capital city or is she assigned to the capital military region? My ancestral home is from other places, and I am now settled in the capital. Feng Qingxiu did not hide it. Most of the old revolutionaries who fought in the War of Resistance came from all over the country. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, according to their work arrangements, some settled in the capital, while others guarded various military regions. Once their work was relocated, their food and oil relations would be relocated accordingly. Everyone always respects the capital, and Jing Kuihua is no exception. Listening to what you say, Yufang is not lucky enough to be your niece-in-law. Jing Kuihua was quite regretful. Yufang? Which family's daughter is she? I remember that our brigade did not have such a girl. Although she had left the Wanglu brigade for several years, Feng Qingxiu still knew whether there was a girl named Yufang in the brigade. Jing Kuihua smiled and said, he's not from our brigade, he's from the Red Star Brigade, his name is Lu Yufang. As soon as she heard the name Lu Yufang, Feng Qingxiu thought of Lu Jinhua. Lu Yufang, Lu Jinhua, both have the surname Lu. Lu Yufang is Lu Jinhua's niece. Of course, she is not a relative, but she lives in the next room. She is hardworking and capable, and earns full work points every day. Who wouldn't say that she is a good girl who manages the household well? Jing Kuihua said here. Suddenly I remembered that Lu Jinhua was Wang Zhenjun's wife. Speaking of which, you two are related. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1064. Feng Qingxiu didn't want to have anything to do with Lu Jinhua and Wang Zhenjun. Her uncle and aunt were really selfish to the extreme. I wonder if they had bothered them in the past few years. Speaking of Lu Jinhua, Feng Qingxiu thought of her sister-in-law Zhu Dani and couldn't help but ask. Zhu Dani, Jinghua likes the family in the east and the west, and there is really nothing that she doesn't know about the surrounding areas. Lu Go and Sheng are so cowardly now that they don't even dare to let out a fart in front of Zhu Danny. Zhu Danny is taking good care of Zheng Zheng now. Although her life is not as good as that of our team, she is much better off than when she gave birth to her child. Feng Qingxiu nodded, that's good. Being a mother makes you strong, and Feng Qingxiu admires Zhu Danny, a woman who has grown strong from acknowledging her relatives and swallowing her reputation. Jinghua took a few sips of water and suddenly said, Tianwan has a wife, but Guancheng doesn't have one? I have a good candidate. The whole family is interested in Guancheng. I asked you to ask if you can let them meet her noodle. Just as Feng Qingxiu was about to wave her hand, Jinghua beat her to it and said, don't refuse yet, listen to what I have to say. My cousin-in-law, aren't you making things difficult for me? Feng Qingxiu looked helpless. Although my Aiken is young, he has his own ideas in his heart. I can be Tianjun's master, but I can't be his master. Son, including my father. Listen to me first, Jinghua said. Feng Qingxiu shut up. Okay, sister-in-law, you say it, I'll listen. Jinghua smiled with satisfaction and said, this girl is from our brigade. The little girl of Wang Fole, captain of the 5th Brigade, is called Wang Lingzi. She is very good looking. She is fair, with delicate features. She is one of the best among the girls in our brigade. Yes, I've been to school again, and I'm still a classmate with Guancheng, and we were admitted to high school together. Why would such a good girl think of my Aiken? I am not belittling myself. Although my Aiken looks good in medicine, she has no foundation in the Wanglu Brigade and has to take care of a younger brother. It's just that you don't have any foundation. Jinghua clapped her hands. Feng Qingxiu didn't understand. Okay? What's good? What my sister-in-law said made me confused. Jinghua said with a smile, Wang Fole and his wife are both honest and kind people. Wang Fole has been the captain for many years and no one has said anything bad about him. The only bad thing is that they have 3 daughters in their family. Son. So, they are like recruiting a son-in-law who has no family, no job, and no parents to live in their home. This is not only Wang Fole and his wife, but Wang Lingzi himself is very fond of him. I'm willing, so I took this trip today. Sister-in-law, please stop saying this, we won't agree. Feng Qingxiu, who had never asked Guancheng before, rejected Jinghua's marriage proposal. Why? Now that men and women are equal, the country encourages marriages where the man goes to the woman's family. Jinghua was happy to see the marriage come to fruition, so she worked hard to convince Feng Qingxiu. Both Wang Fole and Wang Fole are easy to get along with people. Guancheng will definitely not be offended when they come to their home. They are all in the Wanglu Brigade, so you can watch it. In the future, won't Guancheng's wife be moved to Wang Fole's house? No difference. Feng Qingxiu said solemnly, I know the character of my Aiken, and it is impossible for him to be a door-to-door son-in-law. Sister-in-law, there is no need to talk about this matter anymore. Don't say it in front of me, and don't talk about it in Aiken. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1065. Guancheng wanted to revitalize the Guan family. Although he didn't say it, his words and deeds often showed it. Although Guan Yu is also very smart, he is far less scheming than his brother and has a naive temper. Like Lu Tianzi, he has lived under the protection of everyone since he was a child. He has never experienced strong winds and heavy rains, and he has no idea who the Guan family is. In this case, the burden of the Guan family falls on Guancheng. Father Lu and Feng Qingxiu were both very aware of his desires and plans. Instead of dampening his enthusiasm, they were very supportive. That's why Father Lu found a way to get him to join Jinruoku's family. Now he follows Jinruoku day and night. He rushed to work and took care of Jin Ruoka comfortably. When avoiding the common people of Wanglu Brigade, the teacher and student talked about knowledge, which was much harder than Feng Qingxiu. How could Guancheng like this be willing to be a door-to-door son-in-law? Men and women are equal. Feng Qingxiu has no prejudice against her son-in-law, nor does she have any objection to the surname of the child. She even encourages men to marry into the woman's family, but only if the man and woman are so happy that they don't care about the eyes of the world. In addition, they must also the man was willing, but it was obviously impossible for his family in Guancheng to agree. Because the door-to-door sons-in-law of this era are different from the door-to-door sons-in-law of a few decades later. The current door-to-door sons-in-law have to change their surnames. For example, if Guancheng comes to Wang Fole's house, he has to change his surname to Wang and call him Wang Cheng. In the old days, a son-in-law was considered a very low-status person. After marriage, the surname was changed to the woman's surname. Although it was not so strict after the founding of the People's Republic of China, and men were encouraged to marry the woman's family, there were still many families who hired a son-in-law and then let her marry him. Change the surname so that the child born will have the woman's surname and the father's surname, and will not be looked at strangely because the father and son have different surnames. Guancheng was thinking about the Guan family and would never abandon this surname that existed in his memory and spurred him to work harder. After hearing Feng Qingxiu's words, Jin Kuihua still refused to give up, come back and ask Guancheng what he wants. After he was adopted by you, he lived and ate in your house and had nothing. He can't marry a wife in your house, right? Can you afford 2 brothers plus 2 brothers Tianjun? If you want to build a house, you have to buy 4 pieces of land to build 4 houses. Sister-in-law said this too early. Tianzi and Au are only 14 or 15 years old, and they are far away from marrying wives. Tianjun and his partner are both soldiers. They eat and live in the army, and building a house at home is a waste. Only Guan is left. We are alone in the city, and we are either planning to get married now or get a wife now, and Ajiang and I can definitely afford it. Feng Qingxiu said simply, please, sister-in-law, please come and reject Wang Xinlei's house for us. This is an extraordinary life event. We respect Akin's wishes. Then you ask Guancheng, maybe he agreed to the marriage considering the heavy burden on you. Wang Xinlei and Wang Lingzi asked again and again, and Jin Kuihua was also very optimistic about Guancheng and Wang Lingzi. Guancheng came back to get water, walked to the yard and heard a few words of conversation between Feng Qingxiu and Jin Kuihua. After calling his aunt outside the door as a courtesy, he came in and said, although I don't know what aunt and aunt are talking about, it's a big deal in my life, but my aunt's words are my words, so my trip was in vain. Jin Kuihua's eyes lit up when she saw Guancheng. What a handsome young man. He has thick eyebrows, big eyes, and regular facial features. He is a little thinner than Lu Tianjun, but he is more refined and elegant. Behind his back, many girls like him very much, and Wang Lingzi is just one of them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1066. Jin Kuihua grabbed Guancheng, like pouring beans through a bamboo tube, and told him Jin's purpose. Guancheng listened carefully, and finally said politely, thank you, Aunt, for worrying about us. Aunt and I have the same idea. When you go back, reject the Wang family for me and say that Guancheng has no morals and incompetence, and has pedantic ideas. He will never know anything about it in his life, abandoning the ancestral surname and having a younger brother to raise. Please ask them to choose a virtuous son-in-law. In fact, the most important thing is that he doesn't like Wang Lingzi. Wang Lingzi is his classmate. She started writing love letters to him 3 years ago, but he rejected her. Why is your child so stubborn? Jing Kuihua was helpless. Lingzi is gentle and kind. When mentioning her, who wouldn't give a thumbs up when talking about her? It won't stop you from continuing to raise your brother. What are you worried about? Guancheng insisted, please help me refuse. No matter how good Wang Lingzi is, even if he is a fairy, it has nothing to do with him. He wants to find a partner who will make his heart beat, rather than marry casually for the sake of procreation. Okay then, I'll go back and make it clear to the Ganoderma family. Jing Kuihua stood up. Feng Qingxiu walked her to the door. I'm sorry, sister-in-law, you have to worry about my children. Jing Kuihua sighed, I know your children are different from those of us who just live in the dirt, but I still have to say that now that schools are closed and there is no way to get into college, you have to be realistic. Tianwan, I'm in the army, so let's not talk about a partner in the army. It's better for the remaining kids not to be so high-minded. Feng Qingxiu was not happy to hear this. Who said my children have high standards? Isn't it right to be more cautious in lifelong matters? After all, two people want to get along for a lifetime, so naturally they need to find someone who understands them well and is compatible with them. Jing Kuihua thought for a while, that makes sense. Okay, then I'll tell the Wang family and Lu family. Jing Kuihua was a little regretful that her first attempt was unsuccessful. She arrived at Wang's house first and carefully explained to Wang Xinlei's wife and Wang Lingzi, mainly about the attitudes of Feng Qingxiu and Guancheng. I have told you a long time ago that Guancheng is a capable person from all over the country. Apart from delivering babies, who would not go to him if they have a minor illness, a broken leg or a broken arm? He is capable, filial, and treats his younger brothers and sisters. He is as good as his own son. There are many people who are looking at him, not just yours. Besides, how many young men with any ambition are willing to become a son-in-law? Guancheng mentioned it several times, but he didn't agree. If you don't believe in evil, you must let me go. Jing Kuihua thought that Wang Xinlei and his wife proposed marriage because they probably felt that Wang Lingzi was both talented and beautiful, and was the only female high school student in the Wanglu brigade, 10 times better than the girls mentioned by Miao Fengqin and Wang Fengqiao. Wang Lingzi stopped holding the solace of her shoes and bit her lower lip. Auntie, Guancheng, did Guancheng say you don't want to? Yes. It was Guancheng who said it. I happened to meet Guancheng. Jing Kuihua looked at Wang Lingzi's fair face and couldn't bear to see the sadness in her big eyes. I told you a long time ago, it would definitely not work out. In the past, when Qingxiu was not at home, Aunt Fengqin and her sister-in-law told Guancheng directly, but they were rejected. They were Qingxiu's biological aunts, and Guancheng rejected them with such humiliation, let alone me. This shows that Guancheng is absolutely impossible to become a son-in-law. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1067. After hearing this, Wang Lingzi immediately said, Aunt, you can tell him that I am willing to marry him, and I will not recruit a son-in-law. Ganodermalucidum, Wang Xinlei's wife shouted, looking unhappy. Tears welled up in Wang Lingzi's eyes. Mom, it would be nice if I have a child with the surname Wang in the future. I don't have to recruit a son-in-law. The people in Guancheng are so nice, I will discuss with him to have more children. One of them is named Wang. He will definitely not refuse. Besides, Guancheng lives in Wanglu Brigade, just a few steps away from our house. Can't he still take care of you after he marries his daughter-in-law? My son and daughter-in-law don't live together. Wang Xinlei's daughter-in-law scolded, what do you know about movies? If you don't understand, just go away. Your father and I made an agreement with you at the beginning to support you in school, but you have to stay at home to recruit a son-in-law. If you agree, you will not. I'm going to regret it. One of the 3 daughters is unmarried. Is getting married the same as recruiting a son-in-law? Marrying out means that the family loses a labor force, leaving only the old couple, who can only wait for death in their old age. Recruiting a son-in-law is an extra strong labor force. In the future, she and her husband will be too old to move. With such a son-in-law in the account to work and earn work points, they don't have to worry about food rations. The daughter can have more children to provide for their old Wang family. Scattered branches and leaves. Mom, Wang Lingzi burst into tears, is your daughter's happiness so unimportant? Wang Xinlei's wife snorted, what happiness? Little girl, you are not ashamed to say it. Who doesn't meet first, then get married, and live an honest life? I think you just read too much and become stupid. Think about those messy pickled things. If you have the ability, ask Guancheng to come to your home to change your surname and support the family. If you don't have the ability, just be obedient and recruit a down-to-earth young man to spread the branches for our old Wang family. Leaf. Wang Lingzi ran out in anger and threw the half-packed shoe solace with needle and thread on the bed. Running to the river in one breath, Wang Lingzi looked at the Lu family's mud-tiled house on the other side. Suddenly he saw Guancheng coming out of the yard carrying 2 military kettles. Against the light, he couldn't see his face clearly, but he could still see it. Feel his handsome and gentle appearance and temperament. Guancheng received the same education as Lu Tianjun since he was a child. He is good at both civil and military skills and has good hearing and vision. He caught a glimpse of Wang Lingzi, frowned, and quickly turned to the west, walking very fast. Wang Lingzi has caused trouble in his life. He has no second feeling except boredom. Compared with those girls who are illiterate or illiterate but have a simple personality, Wang Lingzi gives him a far different impression. Guancheng, Wang Lingzi finally caught up with him, panting and dripping with sweat. Guancheng took 3 big steps back, avoiding Wang Lingzi's attempt to pull his hand. He held the kettle in front of his chest with both hands. Comrade Wang Lingzi, please get out of the way, I have to go to work. He especially cherished the study time with Jin Ruoku and didn't want to waste any of it. If Lu Tianzi and Guan Yu hadn't been working far away from them, it would have been them and not him who would have come home to get the kettle. Wang Lingzi refused to give in. Why don't you agree to Aunt Kuiwa's proposal? Guancheng, I'm all thinking about you, why don't you understand? Why don't you accept it? What did I do wrong? Tell me, I change it, I will change it. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1068. Wang Lingzi thought about Guancheng's reaction in many ways, but she never thought that Guancheng would not even give her a chance to listen to her. Before she finished speaking, she saw Guancheng Yuki Jueshen's figure. There is nothing to say to such a person, Guancheng thought to himself. He has rejected Wang Lingzi several times, not once or twice, but 8 times out of 10. After 3 years, who has the patience to deal with her? Even though Guancheng was extremely graceful in his conduct, he disappeared under Wang Lingzi's repeated harassment. Thinking of some people's remarks, Guancheng felt ridiculous. For his own good. Do they know what they want? Do you know what you want to do? All of them forced themselves to agree to a marriage they didn't want to agree to in the name of their own good. The only people who are truly good to him are the Lu family, Lu's father, Lu Zhang, Feng Qingxiu, and Lu Tianjun. Over the years, they have always understood him, supported him, helped him, and never forced him to do things he didn't like. Parents may not be able to reach their level, so Guancheng engraved this kindness deeply in his heart. Jin Ruoku, who was responsible for digging through the garlic on the floor, saw him running over with sweat on his face and couldn't help but said, "Why are you running so fast? It's like a dog chasing a rabbit. The sweat that comes out has to be replenished by drinking water. Look at how vulgar your words are, who is the dog? Who is the rabbit?" When Ruyu held onto the straw hat Feng Qingxiu bought for him. While drinking water, Jin Ruoku said, "Our elegant Akin is just a little white rabbit chased by a dog. As for who is the dog, I don't know. I have to ask Aiken. Guancheng said innocently, I was worried that everyone was thirsty, so I ran a little faster. It has nothing to do with dogs chasing rabbits. If you admit it, doesn't it mean you admit that you are a rabbit? He is not that weak, he just doesn't want to continue to tangle with Wang Lingzi. It would be bad if he was seen. It has to do with the style of men and women. After hearing this, several old people laughed, drank water, and continued to stir up the garlic spread on the ground. This year, the Wanglu Brigade has had a bumper harvest of garlic. The garlic grown in each household's private plot is naturally taken care of by each family. Many of them are directly braided and hung under the eaves to dry. The Lu family built more than a dozen garlic stalks. But the labor force in the brigade has to take care of the more than 10 acres of garlic grown by the brigade, and the garlic heads have to be cut. These garlics are sold to supply and marketing cooperatives, which then deliver them to urban food stores and sell them to urban residents. They don't grow vegetables and don't pay public grain, so what do the people in the city eat? In addition to receiving the task of supplying ginger, garlic, fruits, and vegetables this year, the Wanglu Brigade must dry the garlic in a cool place before sending it over. The moisture on the garlic skin must be dried, and the garlic must be picked. There must be no incomplete or damaged garlic. Half, unsightly, and other fruits and vegetables have to be picked early in the morning before dawn and sent to the supply and marketing cooperative, or directly to the city. Wang Dachun came over and looked through it for a while, then said to Guancheng, it's almost done. Put it in a basket and put it on the truck. It will be sent to the supply and marketing cooperative in a while. The tasks are completed one by one, and the wheat will be harvested soon. We can't just wait and see. These are some garlic. Guancheng agreed, Uncle, don't worry, I will lead everyone to complete the task as soon as possible. Wang Dachun is Feng Qingxiu's cousin. The children of the Lu family all call him cousin, just like Zibao Fuebao. The relationship between the two families is so good that they have already removed the cousin name, which makes them feel closer. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1069. Wang Zhenqiu knew that Guancheng was a disciple of Jin Ruoku, so he gave Guancheng the task of leading this group of elderly people to work. There are about 20 old people, enough for him to manage. Wang Dachun particularly likes the children of his cousin's family. As his mother said, dragons give birth to dragons, and phoenixes give birth to phoenixes. No child is simple. Tianjun joins the army and Guancheng studies medicine. What's the future? Why should I be worried? You can take a few people to pull the flatbed truck and bring it with the bamboo basket. The remaining people will pile the garlic together and wait for the truck and the bamboo basket to arrive so that they can be easily loaded into it. Wang Dachun gave some instructions. And was about to say something else, but saw his youngest son running over, stumbling and crying. Dad! Dad! Xiaodu's voice was extremely high, and his face was covered with tears mixed with dust. What's wrong? Wang Dachun squatted down, pulled up the lapel of his coat and wiped his tears, and said funnily, Look, you're crying like a little cat. Didn't you play in front of your house? Why are you crying? Tell Dad. Xiaodu let out a cry and cried even more sadly, Brother Shimo took away the little tin frog that Brother Zibao gave me. Zibao is now interested in radios. Except for the toys that Chen Suaniang gave him, he kept all the toys. Except for the tin frog that he dismantled, he gave away the little tin frog and the little tin rooster that Feng Qingxiu bought for him. They were given to children who were about the same age as him or younger than him and who had a good relationship with him. Xiaodu, who was 1 year younger than him, was one of them. How else to say that Zibao is popular? This generosity and energy alone are unmatched by many people. Wang Da-chun felt a headache when he heard the word stone mill. This Zhao Dabao is the lifeblood of his aunt's cousin Chen Can. He has suffered 3 disasters since he was a child. The old people in the Zhao family thought that the name was causing trouble. The name of Tabao couldn't suppress him, so they gave him a nickname of Shimo. The Wanglu Brigade is really disgusting. Wang Fengqiao had a straightforward temper and didn't like her grandson. She sent him back several times, but he was always sent back the next day. To put it bluntly, the Zhao family is selfish. Although Wang Jiao often went back to her parents' house to eat and drink because her husband's family couldn't bear to eat dry food, Zhang Yuejin knew it well. As long as his wife returned to her parents' house, he would bring some pig offal and free meat to her, never empty-handed. Chen Can is different. She doesn't look like Wang Fengqiao's daughter at all. Her husband, Zhao Taizu, worked in a power plant, and she lived in a dormitory of 7 to 8 square meters. She left her 3 children at her husband's house to be taken care of by her mother-in-law, and she did odd jobs in the city, such as making paper boxes. Where is the old lady from the Zhao family? Chen Can was pretty good before and after her marriage, otherwise Wang Fengqiao would not have married her daughter to the Zhao family. Since the famine began, she has been unparalleled in her acrimony. She cares about everything and orders her granddaughter to order 2 dogs every day. They gave alms to them with water, but they were reluctant to bear the hardships of their grandson at home. The harvest of their brigade was not good every year, so Chen Can asked Chen Can to send the stone mill to Wang Fengqiao's house to eat Wang Fengqiao's family's food and save his own family's rations. Chen Can turned to her husband's family and naturally obeyed. Upon hearing that his son's precious tin frog had been snatched away by a stone mill, Wang Da-chun picked up his son without saying a word and said, "Let's go, Daddy will get it back for you." He was not as generous as a child. As soon as the father and son left, Wang Lingzi came over with his hind legs. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1070. Guancheng, Wang Lingzi stopped and shouted at Guancheng. A group of old people were collecting garlic on the ground. They raised their heads when they heard the sound and looked at the graceful Wang Lingzi under the shade of the tree. Wang Lingzi is fair, and has a smooth face. Because she is the only female high school student in the team, she has been exposed to high school students in the city, and she has developed a temperament that is completely different from the other girls in the team. Girls with high academic qualifications always attract much attention, not to mention they are beautiful. Since classes were suspended, he returned to Wanglu Brigade and was with a group of disgraced girls. Wang Lingzi had a sense of superiority and felt that only Guancheng, who was like a dragon or a phoenix among people, was worthy of him. "Aiken, someone called you, you are still a big girl," Jinruoku nudged Guancheng, who was next to him, with his arm. Guancheng acted as if he hadn't heard anything and only said to Jinruoku, "Teacher, I don't understand the formula you just said. Please explain it to me carefully after dinner in the evening." Jinruoku said, "No problem." Anyway, after becoming a disciple, Guancheng would sneak to the place where they lived every night. Not only would he explain some knowledge to him that he had no access to, but other old people present would also give him some pointers. Jinruoku liked this smart, tenacious, and filial student so much that he wished he could pass on all his skills to him. When Wang Lingzi saw that Guancheng was ignoring her, she bit her pink lower lip and screamed again. Seeing that Guancheng still ignored her, she walked up to him and said, "Guancheng, I have something to tell you. Come with me." Guancheng stopped what he was doing, straightened up, and said calmly, "Sorry, there are differences between men and women, I don't think there is anything to say. Please get out of the way and don't disturb my work." Wang Lingzi immediately stared straight ahead. Under the sun, the sweat beads on his forehead trickled down from both sides of Guancheng's cheeks, and his sweaty hair stuck to his forehead and cheeks. The sweat beads sparkled in the sun, giving him a thrilling beauty. Guancheng is the most handsome young man she has ever seen. He is tall, with broad shoulders and long legs. His eyebrows slant into his temples and his eyes are as deep as a pool. He is gentle and elegant, handsome and resolute. Lu Tianjun is also very good looking. Everyone said that he should not be Lu Jiang's nephew, but his son, because the uncle and nephew are so similar, but compared with Guancheng, their uncle and nephew are more burly and less. 3 points of grace. They have the roughness of soldiers, while Guancheng has the gentleness of literati. Especially in Guancheng in the spring and autumn, he wears a straight Mao suit, just like the second prime minister stepping down from the portrait. His appearance and demeanor are so impeccable that he is pleasing to the eye even when working in a t-shirt. Many girls secretly like him. For this reason, Wang Lingzi often fights openly and secretly with girls of the same age in the Wanglu brigade. Noticing Wang Lingzi's gaze, Guancheng frowned, feeling disgust in his heart, and passed her directly. Wang Lingzi reached out to grab his arm, but he quickly dodged it. Presumptuous, Guancheng glanced at her coldly and said in a very stern voice, "Comrade Wang Lingzi, please be more respectful. As I said before, men and women are not allowed to have sex." He originally wanted her not to be so disrespectful and cause rumors to him, but he was afraid that Wang Lingzi would be reminded after hearing these words, and instead pester him even more intensely, deliberately causing misunderstandings and rumors to others, forcing him to have no choice but to marry her, so he swallowed the next sentence without saying it.